And officially, good morning and welcome to the Market Watch Group Midweek Check-In. I am Scott. I will be your host. The combo is for those who did not get. You don't want the COVID vaccine? That's madness to me. I love science. I trust science so much more than I trust politicians. I'm just saying. I trust science more than I trust the media and more than I trust politicians. Although, how do you get to the science when you have to wade through the politicians and the media? Um, and here's what happens nowadays. My daughter, and my wife went to a doctor. It was just something about like hair growth and her hormones and birth control, and the doctor was just like very flippant and like, oh, it could be this or that. We came home, we went to ChatGPT and had a definitive answer within 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I'm saying I would submit to an AI doctor. I've heard so many cases of AI like solving where like doctors didn't know and they put their symptoms in and AI is like, well, it could be this, and it turns out it was. You know, I'm a believer. I put it out. I put it out into the ecosphere. And 20, 30 years from now, when our AI overlords take over, they'll remember my name. They'll be like, he's in with the cause. Okay, we're getting distracted. Let's get into it. Here's the disclaimers. Be careful. Education, illustrated purposes only. Yada, yada. Doctors are still practicing medicine. They are. I get they are. But they can be so hard to deal with sometimes. And AI, you can be rude to it. You can be rude to ChatGPT and it'll be like, I'm sorry. For now. Obviously, when they take over, then you can't anymore. You lose that right. What are we going to talk about today? Talk about today's opening analysis. What do the futures look like? What do we think is happening? It's a funny thing, right? When we talk about the continuity, we're already at the midweek check-in. We're halfway through the week. Is the market doing what we thought or what we expected? Did anything... Right, that's part of what we're checking in here for. This is the check-in. What's going on? Is it doing what you thought? Is it different? Did you miss something? Do you feel like you're on point? Are you managing your trades? Right? Are you managing your trades according to conditions? Do you see anything in conditions shifting? Great. Okay. Now, then we talk about our... so we'll look at the posture. We'll just kind of say, hey, how are we doing? Are there times that I shift my posture midweek? Yes. Have we seen it in this group? No. But there are times where if all of a sudden some nasty things start happening and it's like you come in on Wednesday and you're like, my God, Monday and Tuesday was just catastrophic. Yeah, then you better adjust. Be water, my friend. Don't just be like, well, my posture is still a 5. You're like, no, it just broke support. The volatility spiked. The volume spiked. You're like, those 3 things alone would bring me down to a 3.75 or a 3.5, whatever it may be, right? That's what we're doing. It's just kind of what's happening. We never want to be the frog in that pot of water who all of a sudden is like, it's hot. You're like, yeah, it's boiling. It's not just hot. It's too late hot. You needed to feel that it was getting warm way back when you had the ability to jump out. So awareness is a key part of what we're trying to do with this. Still need to change the shopping list. I do need to. I'm going to do it as soon as I close this slide. Good call out. The shopping list. I didn't like the connotation of a shopping list. That makes it seem like I'm trying to buy something, not buying as opportunity presents, and that's why the name. But we'll look at it. Exploring setups. I didn't see much. I don't know about you guys. I didn't see much, but one thing I did see that I am considering. Quick call out. If you were here last night, Clint, one of our new members, said, Scott, what the hell is wrong with your alert? He didn't say it like that. I just want to make a little bit of a more dramatic retelling, so it's more of a fun story. So Clint's like, Scott, what the hell's going on here? And I'm like, I'm not sure. Let me look into it. Turns out he was right. Okay, he thought it. Fair enough. So it turns out he was right. There was a mistake on that, and we actually walked through the whole thing. So if that sounds interesting to you, pull up yesterday's second half recording. Yes, it was the intermediate class, this intermediate session. I don't want to call it a class. It's a session. And we walked through like, okay, well, what did happen? And what was I trying to do? And why am I trying to do it that way? So for some people, it was just a brand new exposure to calendar spreads because that's what the trade was. And you could kind of see, oh, okay, here's what's going on. I talked about, hey, look, paper trade it. Or if you really want to dive in, it's $108 for one contract if you wanted to put some skin in the game and not really be, losing sleep at night. So go watch that because it's an interesting thing. I take full ownership that I thought I had changed those dates. And in fact, as I talked through it, I found a couple of other points where I was like, you know what? I'd rather it says debit spread, not just spread. Long story short, it's been fixed. The new alert is out. You can find it in your email. You can find it in the announcements. And it's valid. So the thing about a calendar spread, I wasn't like, oh my God, we missed our opportunity, because that's not how they work. Right? They're not like this. I have to time everything perfectly. It's a time spread, not a timing, right? Timing meaning directional. It's a time spread. So if we get that fill, great. It's on. If we have to adjust it, we adjust it. If it just sits and does what it's supposed to do, then a week later we'll make 30, 40%, right? Okay. Well, let's go. Let's do it. Let's stop talking about it. Let's do it. I still have like a weird instance. I have like an instance of Thinkorswim that I can't close. And I just haven't restarted my computer, but I definitely need to do that. Okay. Let's get some context. Okay, I was like, did you guys see this headline? I'm like, I think they're trying to do something. The S&P 493, so they're taking out the big seven, I'm sure. Most S&P stocks haven't seen earnings growth in over a year. That's about to change. The earnings recession is over. I don't even know what to call that. That's just madness. Earnings have been fine. Every quarter, they'll tell you like what percentage of companies are meeting or exceeding expectations and by what average amount, right? In fact, now that I've said that, I'm going to see if I can't find that and bring that so that you can actually see, not just looking back, but looking forward. Like, hey, if we're from quarter to quarter using, because we're about to see earnings windows coming up, right? Like Friday we have Citi, I believe, reporting earnings, which kicks off financials, and then at the end of financials, Alcoa, AA. That actually used to be 25 years ago, when I first, got into trading and earnings windows. Alcoa, AA, the first Dow component, like that was like the kickoff. Now, banks and financials have moved into like an earlier position in that earnings window. And so, yeah, we're there. Like, that's why you're going to start seeing people talk about this. This is such a weird article or headline. I'm sure the writer was like, this is so clever. It's not clever. And it's not actually accurate. That's what I want to flag out, is that things have been fine. We would know if it wasn't. But is that a bullish? I mean, look what's going on. Where are we right now? We should be in a place where we have a few trades still on. Where would they be? Financials? No. For me, no. The unfortunate thing is it started moving again. So if you stayed in, great. Technology, you probably pared down some, but kept some, and yeah, it's still moving. So good to go. S&P is up 0.22 in the futures. The Dow only 0.04. And remember that one of the things that we are keeping an eye on is this race here between these two. Which of these two is going to move into that third position? And nope, sorry, that's wrong. Sorry, these two. These two, sorry. All right. 0.04, 0.4. There's more coming into Russell than down. Now, this is just day to day, but the more we see that, the more our expectations are that our our major market score is improving. So, right, we're watching this race and we're rooting for the small caps. We're rooting first. We're the little guys. Yeah. Okay. Oil is kind of flat, but oil is actually something that I'm looking at right now. Why? Because, as I said, for a new setup, one of the only things I saw was oil. Everything's already been moving, right? So it's hard. U.S. futures hold near records with all eyes on Powell, AI juggernaut to power S&P into next year. I'm telling you. I am an AI advocate. I want to have a automatic built into like my AirPod, so I can just be like, ChatGPT, what do you think? Blah blah blah, and like ask it a question, like Jarvis for Iron Man. Like we're that close. ChatGPT is Jarvis. We just need to put it in our ear and in our glasses so it can see things and process it for us. Oh, it's going to be amazing. Okay. VIX trading very low for an election year. That's an interesting one. It is low. That's true. The VIX is very low. Period. Just empirically, right? Just empirically, the VIX is low. It is an election year. So what they're saying is normally we have more uncertainty or would expect more uncertainty. And actually, as that's called out, I'm like, yeah, I kind of agree with this election. I would think, but we are in July. Let's see what happens if we get towards September and we don't get a rate cut. This is what's building for me as a potential, right? Is let's skip over here. So no expectation for July, but when you look at September, and we are looking at 3-1 basically here, better than 3-1 odds for a cut. Here's the problem: is we've seen this happen so many times. Oh, everybody's so euphoric about getting that rate cut, the Fed crack, that they need it. They need it. But the problem with that is the buildup and the letdown. Is if we don't get something. I am still, and I would love to hear from the group. I am still November. I don't think they're going to do it. And everyone's like, oh, they're getting all these reasons that they could. There's could, should, and what will they do? Poll leaders in July usually win, few exceptions. Do we have poll leaders right now? I thought it was like pretty neck and neck. Is there any like polls that are saying? I actually don't know. I think I've decided to take more of an ostrich approach to the politics this year. I'm gonna slam my head into the sand, cover my ears, and say la 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 la, not hear anything. I don't know. Is there an election? I have no idea. All I'm going to do is trade. That's it. Here's what I will say this, though, and I say this all the time. Don't allow your politics to interfere with your trading. That's the best advice. That's the best advice that I can give you. Don't allow your politics to interfere with your trading. I'm going to put a quote on that and that's because I've seen it every election cycle. And it's always like, I can tell, if X gets elected, market's going to go to crap. It doesn't matter who wins and whose side. Someone's on the other side saying that. And what does the market do? It just keeps chugging along. Dun, dun, dun. The Energizer Bunny keeps on going. He needs to change his battery sometimes, but don't let it impact. If you are frustrated by the outcome, and absolutely, absolutely half the country is going to be frustrated in a major way, and that's what's so sad about it. But the the good news for us in this group is we can just keep on trading. That's how we're going to get through it. Whatever it is, you're just gonna get through it that way. So, anyways, then we go to November. Yeah, November's perfect. Look at the date, November 7th. The election's November 6th. It's too easy for them to just kick it, wait, and then you know what? If there's that much desire, they can hit it in November and December. Boom, boom. Hit it twice and then let it coast into 25. Magnificent. I just don't think September. And I think if the market keeps building itself up for it and then it doesn't get it, then we have an adverse reaction. Remember, September, October last year was when things got nasty on us. So just throwing it out there for us to be keeping an eye on it, right? Okay, let me get back. So yes, this here, and some of my people are like, what are you talking about, Scott? That looks down. Look, this is what's happened. It's been in this consolidation for so long, and then bazango, it got out, got to a new high, and we'll see this on oil as well. I'm just looking at this because this is off cycle, right? Oil is not going to cycle with the rest of the market. So this is something that gives me balance potentially in my trading. That if the rest of the market is kind of like, ooh, well, technology's overextended and we're waiting for a consolidation. Well, look, I have something that I'm thinking about. And you'll notice back here is the last time I did the same thing. Popped up, and it took a little while to get going. So I can't just think, well, that's it, it's going to go. But certainly that's the signal that I'm watching for. So if you see a signal come in alerts for oil, I'll try to flag that it is going to be in what I would consider off-cycle trading is things that are not going to, most of the market's going to be correlated most of the time. But always there's going to be things that move and sit a little bit outside of that. So, okay. God, there is an amazing group of people. Welcome Wheeler, Billy Ray, Don K, old friend. We got Ellen, Don. God, it's going to get to the point already. I said it's like we're going to blink and it's going to be hard for me to say hello to everybody. And that will make me sad. Okay. Let's keep going. Apple just keeps on going, right? So it's like, hopefully with some of these tech trades, you kept at least something, right? You kept at least something. That's where it's like, can I just have one little piece that keeps on going, that I just keep on managing for? So, right? Signal came here. Oh, we didn't love that, but we stuck through it. And then once you got through the hiccup, you've just been rewarded for it, right? So then you get to the point where you wished you had more on, but it's good trade. Is it a signal? Is there something we want to do with this now? No, we're going to have to just finish it and then wait for the next opportunity, which could be days. We never know. AMD, As I said, AMD is now on my list. I was waiting for it to break out of this sideways pattern. It did. Now I'm waiting for what? Now I just wait for the next consolidation. We just got a higher high. Now I just need the higher low. Amazon looks overextended. Looks great. If you're in it, you're probably at this point not in it, or at least not much longer, because we've been at this same spot. We're not getting through 200. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like it needs to take a little breather, comes back, regroup, turn around. Oh yeah, at that point, you know that I think consumer has viability to move into a third position for sector growth, and I think Amazon is going to help accomplish that. I'm looking for that. AVGO. Okay, so this is one that we built a trade on. The first, we did it with 3 shares. The first one hit its pressure release target around this 1750-ish area right here. Boom, one off. Then it dropped back, then it went up, and now it's just kind of floundering a little bit here. So yeah, what would I be thinking if I was in this trade? I've taken another one, tightening up the stop on the last one. If it can go, because if you look here, I still have Heikin-Ashi momentum. So what I could be doing is just moving my stop. So I could hold it for even one more day and put my stop here. But my stop at that point would be at like 1720. Not a lot of room. If it breaks out, I at least have one more piece to try to get up here. If it doesn't, I'm not going to give much back now. The noose is tightening at this point, right? So it's not like, I get it. When we try to let winners run, it can be hard because you're like, I don't want to give it back. But we have to be willing to give some back in order to get that bigger. We want those bigger wins, especially, again, relative to our market posture. If my market posture is 0 or 2, then no, I'm not like, hey, let your winners run. I'm like, hey, if I get 3 days of momentum, I'm going to snatch it. That's what a 2 market is. Snatch it. I'm not going to sell a little piece. I'm going to sell half, maybe even more, and just be like, I'll sell all but one piece. And if it keeps running, great. But if not, yeah, those are different conditions. But these conditions where we are strongly in a good, again, let's remind ourselves. I think I maybe forgot to bring this up. We are 575, 575, 55, 57. We've been in this market. It's strong. We like what we sees. Okay, so that one, I would still be thinking, let's manage it. But it's close. AXP, I like financials. I think financials, as they were kind of in this, I said, let's be ready for some financials trades. Yes, I think more than a few of you have gotten a good piece because we said we know there's going to be a move into a third sector. We saw it developing. It was just where, and you could see the beginnings of it. So I think we did well with that. So hooray for us. Now you're managing anything that you're in. You're thinking about the next trade. Definitely, it looks like financials are going to move into that third position. It's still not going to be enough to move our score on sector rotation. I need 2 more. To get to that 0.75, I need financials and consumer, or financials and industrials. One's not enough. But it's good. It's better than not, right? Did financials break above the 0 line? I'm not sure. I just know that we're seeing the momentum on an individual basis on our leaders, right? So here's Boeing. I think Boeing is, still a viable situation. Boeing is in its selling cycle, mind you, right? What has it done? Hardly anything. It's sitting on top of the 50 now. So I'm not going to trade it because I've got a weird thing against Boeing now but I like watching it. I don't know. It's a funny thing. Bank of America, strong. It's holding, but it's got earnings in just a few days. Looks a little overextended. You're now managing your gain if you're in it. I don't know if Steven, if you're still in that one or not. I know a few of you had Bank of America. Sandy said she's in Citi. Citi's the closest, right? Citi is 712. That's Friday. BMO, that's before market open. So you've got today and tomorrow. It's sitting at this high. Yeah, right? It's now for the second day pushing up against the high. Earnings in 2 days. As you start to talk through it and say these things out loud, you start thinking, you know what? This is a good time to take most of my profits. If I let it go one more day, I only let a little piece go. I'm out before earnings. Yeah, but do we see enough momentum into the financial leaders that we expect it to continue, that we would think after earnings, especially with a consolidation, then we'll have another opportunity? Yes, absolutely. Right? Let's get ready to trade in financials again coming out of earnings. Caterpillar. Just I keep it there. I'm trying to see if there's any life coming into industrials. There doesn't seem to be yet. Colgate-Palmolive. Come on. Now, why do I like to have this line? This line represents what led to the trade that I want, right? Now, you'll notice I want this one, right? Which was this move here. But I'm not blind to the fact that it could do this. It could give me just one of these half moves. And what would make me think that? If this opens up, I'm like, ooh. Now, I'm not there yet, but I'm close. Yeah. Let me just see what our Heiken Ashley looks like on this. You can see it too. It's transitioned, but it hasn't broke. If this turns into a red candle, I'm going to be done. If it anything but reignition where it starts trying to catch back up. And anything less than that, this trade will end soon. What's the good news? It's at break even. It's not. I mean, even if it started to fall apart from here, I'd get out before I took what I was willing to lose. So I would expect that if it does go wrong, it will be a small loss, and I'm going to still give it its chance because I like the way that the defensives look. Look at the trend. Let's give it its opportunity, right? Anyways, okay. I think a few of you may still be in there. I'm not sure. I'm still in there. Patience. CMG. Nope. We put it into consolidation. Glad we did. And that was the right call. So nothing there for us for a little bit. COP. Yeah. Right? COP. I'm definitely thinking about a trade on COP developing. Let's real quickly just look at oil itself. I'm going to put in /CL. These are the futures specifically for light sweet crude. And you can see that actually highlights and confirms what I said. We had this V right here. That's not great. And then from the V, we broke even higher and we made a higher high. This is oil. And now it's pulling back and it's on top and it's in what I would consider a viable setup mode on top of the 50. Yeah. That looking at this moves me closer. It moves me closer to a trade, not further away. So I look at this and I think, yeah, I'm on point. I feel like that a potential off-cycle oil trade is going to make sense. So that is something now I'm going to be looking out for. Let me know what your thoughts are on that thought process. Costco, come on. I think it can get back to that 900. Never count out Costco. Costco can just like grind along. Look back here in May. Just like, oh, it's not gonna, it's done here. And you're like, is it done here? Are you sure? And it just keeps on going. And so again, I'm gonna do what I can to stick with it. Heiken Ashi still looks good. I think we still have legs. DIA. The Dow looks lackluster. A little bit of momentum in gold. No momentum at all in Bitcoin. GE, still flat. Gold, like we said, there's a little bit of pop there. Google, I would imagine if you're in it, you're close. You're kind of wrapping up. I these last 2 days for me were enough, and I'm out completely. But that was nice. Alert was back here. If you held any, I didn't hold much. I only held the last little bit because I didn't love this back there, but still profitable all the way. IWM, we just don't know yet, right? Look at this big kind of a wedge type triangular pattern. Which way it goes, right? Like, think about like if you're squeezing a spring, you keep pushing it, you're getting it. When I let go of that spring, I don't know which way it's going to go. But I expect it's going to pop when it does. Bah. Maybe not to the downside, but I don't know. It's like you can just feel this kinetic energy building around small caps with our continued addiction to the Fed. When is the Fed going to give us what we need? We need a fix. Let me see. KBH a little underwater. KO. I'm not counting it out yet, but it's below the 50. I had liked the way it was holding the 50, and it looked like it wanted to try to bounce. My thought was this was potentially an ascending triangle, but you'll notice that's not holding water anymore, right? That's not holding water anymore. So at this point, I'm kind of like, I don't think I have a setup anymore. Once that premise that you think's leading to a trade is no longer setting up, there's not much you can do with that. Here's Meta. Meta looks like it's flagging. So I like Meta for a new setup soon. Flagging right now. Anything above this 520 mark, I think there's potential for us there. MFC is financials. Just waiting like we are with financials. MMM is a little more consumer staples. So this could bounce, but I don't love how sideways this is. I think if consumer staples is going to go, we've already got a piece of it in CL. Morgan I like, but it's overextended and it's close to earnings, and it's part of financials. We like financials again. I think it's moved into a leading position, but we have to be patient for the next signal. Microsoft looks fantastic. It's in a consolidation, same as Meta. It's flagging. This is it. Whatever this consolidation leads to, it could come all the way back to here. Could only come to here. It might not go. We don't know. Microsoft is a leader in technology. It's got great momentum. I'm definitely looking to participate in that. Micron is one that I'm in. It hiccuped. I got in here. Caught the first day, looked great. Second day, not so great. Gave it back. Still sitting around break even. Now it's starting to go. So this is it. There's not a second hiccup and then a third hiccup and let's see what we might get. Nope. That is it. Right there. And so the yes, the momentum that's starting now is the like ride or die momentum. It has to start to move, and once it does, that's it. So, right, we've been talking about these little hiccups where you start to go and then it just sort of is like, wait, no, but it's not wrong, and then it goes. I can definitely trade into this hiccup, and I definitely want to hold if I'm in the hiccup, but it's only one. So if it goes from here and then all of a sudden it goes sideways and starts to roll over again, and we don't put ourselves into these sideways grinds, right? Then we're done. We're out. Just be aware of that type of a tendency. Netflix consolidating. New trade setting up, except for the fact that you got to be mindful of earnings now. Everything we look at, make sure you're mindful of earnings. Yes? NVIDIA, it's got a little bit of momentum. It's in this upper channel. It's trying to figure out. The trend is great. The stock is great. But there's some volatility there. PLTR. I'm out and I'm waiting for this. And it's got a pretty big range in which that next trade could set up. So I'm going to be patient, wait for this thing, and look for my opportunity somewhere in there. QQQ, overextended but bullish for sure. TSM, same thing. SPY, same thing. TSM has earnings coming up soon. It still looks quite strong. The dollar, this is one of our two concerns that we flagged. It's still sitting above the 50, and I don't love that. But it did get back below there. We're still in kind of a tenuous place. This is where we want it to be. And we don't want it up here. That's our thought process. Yeah. That's our analysis for UUP. Just so everyone's on the same page. Okay. Here's the VIX. The VIX is so low and it's just kind of sitting there. I don't know. If it comes below this level right here, that actually marks that as a lower high for me, and that's bullish. But it hasn't done it yet. So could this thing turn and keep going up and still be a lower high over here? Yes, still could. It could still do that. This is bullish. It looks great. This low VIX is why we put on a calendar spread, because the calendar spread benefits from low volatility. So, okay. Real quickly, if you're on the trading plan cycle, we are working on section 4, which is risk management. There's a video. There's a couple videos, and those videos are available in the YouTube channel. They're available in the content library. I will put them in the emails that are coming your way. But there's videos about risk management that you can watch. Just make sure you've got these factors in place. Your portfolio heat, your trade risk, number of trades, how you adjust risk, how you adjust strategies based on market conditions. All the things that I was kind of talking through about, like I'm going to sell one, but this time I might sell. How we scale out of trades. The more bullish I am, the less I'm going to scale, the more I'm going to try to hold. But I'm always going to be mindful of like, hey, it's easier to hold. If I have 5 contracts and I sell one and lock a gain in, it's easier to hold those other 4 now. Because like, it gives you some peace moving forward. Anyways, there it is. Let me go back. I know there's been some chat going on. When a chart is flat, is that a signal for a calendar spread? Don, that's a great question. Because a calendar spread is a neutral trade. But it would actually have to be 2 elements. It would have to be that A, it's in a sideways trend, and B, the implied volatility is low. So if a chart like just crashed down a little bit and then was sideways, that might actually have elevated volatility, and the counter spread will definitely not work well there. If it was that, it would actually be a butterfly. So butterfly and calendar are kind of like high volatility, low volatility equivalents. My preference, though, I really tend to do neutral trades on ETFs. They're liquid with more of a propensity to sideways. And I tend to do more of my directional trading on stocks, where when a stock catches fire, it leads. Whereas the ETF is like the balance, right? So if I have oil stocks, there's 3 or 4 that are the best and 3 or 4 that are not great and 3 or 4 in the middle. And that's the ETF. So the ETF has more of a sideways propensity, if that makes sense. So, all right. Well, listen, guys, I have to run. Top of the hour, great session today. Amazing attendance today. It's so good to see everybody. This afternoon, pop in for the last hour. Glenn will be here. He'll be hanging out. It's not going to be on the stage. It's going to be in Market Watch meetups. So pop in, have a discussion. We got plenty of good things to talk about in our watch list. We have plenty of good things to talk about developing our trading plans. You can see there's more and more people here helping us to let's leverage this. Let's push. Let's build momentum in the community, you guys. Please let me know how I can help with that. But hopefully you take advantage of that last hour. Other than that, we're going to do more working sessions. The working sessions are amazing, I think. I hope you think so, because every trade I have found, I have taken. Let's keep building trades. That's where we're just putting it all together and walking through a trade. How do I manage a trade? How do I build a trade, etc. Anyways, I'm having a blast. Please keep in touch with me via mechanisms like the suggestion box or whatever else. But I love seeing people interacting in the Discord. Let's keep it up. It's good to see everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, happy trading.